right, welcome to the third review of the night, and that is um, Lilycle Rainbow Stage. Like, although I guess I should be reading that with more excitement. Um,
What with the three exclamation points?
yes, but I'm like, I, you know, I trip up over the first, quote unquote word because it's a play, it's play on lyrical. You know, and it doesn't flow all that well. Um, but the reason why it's called Lilycle is both because this is a Yuri visual novel. It is very, very gay. And it's also involving idols, like, or at least an idol. Like, I'm like one of the main so-called main characters, although like there are about 15 girls here. Like, yeah, and they're all kind of the protagonist. So it's like they present one of the red-haired girls as
a sort of main protagonist. Yeah.
Well, she's the idol. She's the actual idol.
Yeah. Sakuraba.
Also, I do find it interesting that apparently all these characters are over 18. I'm going to call bullshit on that right now because
I'm going to call that too, just looking at the person who's on screen right now.
For legal reasons, all of these characters are over the age of 18.
Right.
Is what they mean.
A good chunk of this takes place in high school, and they're not all, third years. Like, some of them are first years or second years. That is not 18.
Yeah, they got held back a couple years because they're.
Yeah.
Because they're moe blobs.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that is another thing with the art style. These are. Everyone here is such a moe blob. It's hard to get a concrete assertion of their age.
I'm shocked they have bones. There's so much of moe blob.
No kidding. Anyway, this game is actually pretty close to another Yuri visual novel we reviewed not too long ago from Manga Gamer, no less. That is Kindred Spirits on the Roof. While these games differ in terms of tone and art style, subject matter and structure, they're exactly the same. As in, you've got a bunch of
it's about like one major girl trying to get a whole bunch of other girls to hook up.
Not a lot in those lines, but it is a whole bunch of girls trying to hook up with each other. And as far as the structure goes, well, it's got the calendar structure, like the exact same calendar structure with events listed on the month and the multi-chapter affairs that they can be. I suppose the difference was this has two kinds of events. The what they call the common events. Those are like the single couple. There's going to be like 2-3 girls there at most, and then there are the shared events. Oh God, those are like when you have a group of them. Like 7 or 8, maybe more.
Oh man!
At a time. I'm like, where this game diverges from Kindred Spirits on the Roof in terms of content is kind of the overall subject matter.
Less ghosts here.
Well, I mean, it's less serious. Like, Kindred Spirits on the Roof was a very serious examination of relationships. This one's
other than the fact they wanted to make a Eurytopia.
Right. But I'm like, this is more. It is that premise, but it's a lot more. It's a lot lighter, fluffier. You know, more
Yeah.
going on to picnics and shit like that.
Mhm.
You know, it's
Cute
like
girls doing cute things, basically.
right. You know, and I guess that has its place. It's just at least to me, it was less interesting than what Kindred Spirits was doing.
Hmm.
You know, also the art style does get overwhelming at points. Like you can see all of the pastels.
Yeah,
Like
you need very high contrast tolerance for
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's also that actually affects the gameplay, believe it or not, because they really went in with this aesthetical choice to the point where even the text is candy colored.
Yeah.
that can be problematic sometimes.
Yeah, it's like I
Yeah.
mean, it all corresponds to the girl who is talking, and they have their own color. Sometimes that color clashes with the background.
Yeah,
You
like
know,
the lady
Yeah.
who just started talking, Tamaki, I could barely even see what she was saying.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like I'm gonna say I get what they were going for here. You know, differentiating who was speaking, but what they were, what ended up happening was you have shit that's almost unreadable at points.
Monkey
And
Gamer
for a
really
visual
needs to add like an accessibility reading thing on here. Like
Well,
just
Well,
they,
there
leave the
is.
colored bubble.
what they needed to
There,
add was like a dark outline, like a black outline to things, so it would not clash with the background affairs.
well, there is a transparency setting for the message box. If you can find
Okay,
that.
I'm like, still, I
Yeah,
think,
but more than that, it would be nice to have like a different contrast mode.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Or even just like back in the NES days, a lot of RPG type games would have like where you could choose between a couple of different colors for the text boxes.
in terms of production values, uh, they are very high, actually. Definitely among the higher end I've seen in terms of visual novels, and I think this is an area where this game definitely trumps Kindred Spirits on the roof. I mean, its art was all right, but I thought that one was pretty flat. Yeah, and I'm not talking about the art style. I'm talking about the actual and there is actual animation in this with the characters. Like they're like I hope you like blinking. The characters blink a lot.
Hmm.
It's like that alone. Having animation in a visual novel is usually a sign that effort was done.
Yeah, and like I think there's a couple like frame morphs where they like transition to different poses.
Yeah. Um, they don't try to simulate movement, from what I remember, which
Yeah.
is always nice because I'll be honest, I never really liked the whole simulating action thing in visual novels. Like, it never worked. But there isn't a full range of motion here. Um, it's not up to Supipara levels, which I still consider to be the benchmark for um, visual novel production values. But it's, once again, if you've got animation going on in the character models, that means it's on the higher end. There are full inserts with songs, but those don't have actual animation to it, from what I remember. It's more like an interspersed cuts of images. As far as the music goes, it's very, peppy and upbeat as you would expect. Like the music matches the visuals, but the real star of the audio is the voice acting. In fact, the tagline on the Steam pages, enjoy your favorite voice actresses pairing off in Manga Gamer's latest Yuri release. So a lot of effort is put on the voice acting. I'll be honest, it got cloying after a little while, so I actually muted the whole thing. Like I said, this thing is very candy coated. And it's like, if this were sugar, I'd advise not taking it all in a large dose because it might rot your teeth.
Or
And
give you
it's-
diabetes.
I was ready to say the same thing about the teeth. But
No.
yeah, it's so sweet in its overall tone.
And it's a decidedly low stakes affair, not just in terms of action, but it's it likes doing cute things with the cute girls. And honestly, that's one reason why I lost my interest in it. It's just, I've played more interesting Yuri visual novels this year. It's not, it's not necessarily a bad visual novel. It's just, you kind of have to be into this, or else it's going to be overwhelming.
Right.
Yeah, it just comes down to personal preference. What do you want in your visual novel, basically?
Let's see. So pricing, this game clocks in at $24.99, and surprisingly, there's no bonus materials. Like, there's no soundtrack. There's no.
Is there anything on Manga Gamer's site?
I'd imagine if there was, it'd be on Steam as well. I'm like, let me see. Manga Gamer. Let's see.
I'm not seeing anything.
Wow, that is actually kind of shocking.
Yeah, like I said.
Again, if we would have been able to have drawn, we probably would have been able to know if this was if it's forthcoming or if it was just not.
Yeah.
But such is life.
Anyway, $24.99. That's a pretty typical pricing for something this on the high end of visual novels. Like, you can definitely tell that money was put into this, given all the voice acting and production values. And it's honestly in the middle range of visual novel pricing. Like I'd actually consider 25 to be a bit on the cheap end. Because we've seen visual novels of comparable production value go for $30 up to $40.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also fairly lengthy as well. This takes place over the course of a calendar year, and the calendar is filled with events. So, I think if you are into this, you will get your money's worth.
And it's just like a fluid story. There isn't like any choices. Like, you can't have a bad end or anything like that.
Actually,
yeah, there are choices.
Oh, there are
There
choices.
are choices. I'm not sure how much this isn't a root thing though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm not sure to the full extent of how the choices affect things. Once again, this is the kind of thing that an interview is handy for.
Mm-hmm.
If you're looking for Yuri romance, though, I'd say go for Kindred Spirits on the Roof, or Highway Blossoms, or what was it, Heart of the Woods?
Yes.
It's like
there's a lot of Yuri visual novels.
Yeah, I'm like, all of those alone had just better romance stories than what this had. at, at least from a subjective basis. Anyway, any other thoughts on Rainbow Stage here?
Not that I can think of.
I got nothing to add.
All right. So
It looks cute, possibly aggressively so.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, if I had to rate this, it was an all right. It was an all right visual novel. I personally played better, but this is for a. You've got to be into this whole moe cute girls doing cute things style. Like,
Yeah.
Those are things that I'm not particularly fond of.
Yeah,
Like,
this doesn't.
and it's not surprising given, the type of people who are reviewing these. So, anyway, that's Rainbow Stage. Coming up after the break, our final game of the evening, Velocity G.